And welcome to the Smoke Break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz and G. Wade.
Hi.
Yo, thank you so much for being here. You just waved on an audio podcast.
I don't know. Because I'm
video as well.
Looking at myself,
It's
man.
video.
You gotta look at the camera.
Yeah, look at the camera, so that way the beautiful people out there can see the beautiful people in here.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But welcome to the show. Local rapper, local comedian. Sorry, I almost introduced myself.
I'm a rapper too. I used to rap.
He's a rapper too.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Damn, don't let me undersell you. You used to rap?
I guess that. for
I
some
used
reason.
to. I wasn't really good.
Yeah. You had the punchlines down
I
though,
also
right?
did some Christian rap for a minute. Too.
Shut up.
I can see that. Now I believe you.
For real, I did.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah. I was finding Jesus in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think I stopped rapping because I started to get too real in my Christian rap.
And you were like, maybe these should be
this
jokes.
ain't Christian rap no more.
Yeah. You
This
were
sound too real. It sound like too
you
much of real life.
little too transparent. Yeah.
Yeah, a little too transparent.
Which
Yeah.
brings me to
just
my
started-
first topic.
Sorry.
Transparency. Transparency can be like a really difficult thing. I guess for me, it's something that like I found a lot of comfort in, like I feel like if I show up as my most authentic self, the people who will be attracted to that are going to be the people who are most authentic for me.
Yeah.
What's your experience been with like being transparent or just people being transparent with you?
I think I can't help it, but I think also in certain situations, sometimes it's easier to not be transparent, right?
Yeah.
And so I think the struggle is when to show up as like your authentic self and like, hey, this is just me, blah, I'm here,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and when to hold some of that back because it might not be accepted in whatever situation that you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I need to work on that.
Right. So we have to deal with that as people.
Yeah.
If we show up as our authentic self all the time, we got to know, like, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think that is the thing that we have to deal with is like, fuck it, I'm just going to show up as my authentic self every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
So that's
And
the
those
goal, you
times-
think?
And that's the goal. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah, I think
that's
so
the
too.
ultimate goal. And so now it's like I got to do it.
Yeah.
And so if I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm not, I'm not. If I care about what somebody got to say to me, I will listen to it. But if I don't care about it at the time, because maybe I'm in a different mental space.
Yeah.
Maybe I had a whole day and I don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say to me because
True that.
you don't know what I just walked through today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, I think that, you showing up as your authentic self and choosing the times that like that is going to be the most effective, because it's like sometimes being your most authentic self is the thing that's going to get the most out of the situation. And sometimes if you are too much yourself, then you're not going to get the outcome that you're really looking for,
But also sometimes it can be two things because people have ulterior motives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you showing up authentically you, people know that, okay, I know this and this is going to happen. I
Yeah.
calculate these moves and
Yeah.
I know I can benefit out of it.
Like who's
When it
safe
comes
to
to-
be authentic with, right?
Right.
Or
Exactly.
transparent with.
Yeah.
Podcast, for example, I come to a podcast that I'm not comfortable being authentically me on because I know the type of
Like energy.
Audience.
the type of energy or where you're going to go with my words.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because when you video and auto record anything that video and auto records, then you can
Permanent.
chop up anything
Mhm.
that I say and make me sound like a sound bite or somebody.
Yeah.
I trust y'all to, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna do what y'all, yeah.
I
so
make pretty good clips.
yeah, what I'm saying though,
I don't know if you've seen the clips, but
I trust y'all spirit for real. And
No, but
yeah.
I think like what Zoe said about feeling safe to be authentic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's something that I thought of when you guys were talking was like, do you think this is what I think? Because like if the goal, which I agree, is to be authentic at all times, but because like sometimes, like you said, we don't know like where someone's coming from, where they're at, what they can take for that day. I was thinking like maybe the goal is to like intend on being authentic, but you start like you ease into it and this is like part of being socially aware and like, reading the room
Yeah.
is like, okay, maybe this person looks like they already have a full plate today. Maybe I'm going to ease up a little bit and not just let the gates, the floodgates open. So that's kind of, I was like,
the
you ease into the-
authenticity floodgates.
Yeah. So it's not like you're not being yourself, but you're like easing into it based on what the people in the room have space for
Yeah.
and what the energy of the room is. So you
Well,
don't vibe other people out or
Something that
stress
I
them
heard
out.
about was like mood matching, and I feel like
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Nate.
yeah, it's like mood matching where
Yeah.
it's just like there's nothing wrong with who you are, but like the energy, if like somebody's super down
Yeah.
here and I'm super up here, there's going to be a disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a better chance of a connection if I lower myself just a little bit,
Yeah,
not lower
totally.
myself, like socially or any like just who I am, but like
Just meet
lower
the
my
vibe.
energy, meet
Yeah.
the vibe where it's just like if I see somebody super animated, like being super animated with them makes them enjoy being around you. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's being yourself, but also understanding that like people are also themselves and we have to kind of match their energy sometimes.
So like when do you decide to be the spark though? Right? Because I think in the room, it always has to be a light.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've been at shows, like I go to shows all the time, even though I'm not on them. Right.
Yeah.
And you'll see a show where it's not going good. Just wondering what, right? Until somebody laughs. Until somebody's that spark. Somebody not in.
I'll be the first one to laugh.
That's
I love laughing.
saying.
I'm like one of the only comedians.
So
I
when do you decide to
loud.
elevate over that level, right? Because you match energies, but when do you decide to say, you know what? No, I'm going to bring the energy.
Yeah.
What I would say is I would match the energy of a person, but not the energy of a room, you know, like decide the energy of a room, you know, but like, if you're talking with like one person, like, I think it's easier to be like, hey, I want to meet you where you're at. So that way we can have the most comfortable conversation.
I hear that.
But if it's the energy of a room, like, I don't want to let an entire room decide how I'm going to feel that day. Like they'll probably decide shitty.
But I also like the way because it was for you, it was almost like what if the room needs to be brought up? You know, like that's why I like G was thinking about it. Like what if I could get the room up? You know what I mean? And in that way, it's like you're not doing it to like not match with them. You're doing it because you're like, I want to get everybody laughing and feel in the moment. Yeah. So
exactly.
I like
because,
that.
And a lot of times you'll be hearing stuff that, man, this stuff worked in other rooms.
Of course, we hear that all the time.
The comedy shows I go to is usually my friends, and I've heard it before.
You can see how different
it
is.
Oh man, I was in this other room with y'all, and the same thing you're saying now was killing, but this room, the energy is just like,
you're like, let me tell you guys that this is funny. It's almost like giving people permission to laugh, right?
It's okay to laugh.
Yeah, you're like, this is funny, guys.
We're out here to have fun, right? Are we not? What did you?
Yeah, well, I appreciate what you said about that, just about like raising the energy of the room, because like I think it is important to know that like we have that ability to cause that kind of change. You know, because it's like we as a single person, you know, like you have the power to one by one control the energy of a room. You know, you can do it all at once.
Well, especially being a comedian, that's like that you're thinking about that makes sense.
You like literally as a comedian, you know what it's like to have a mic in your hand. And knowing you telling jokes that are funny, right?
And they're not.
Like, but in this room right here, because it is, you know, because it might be a room where it's only 12 people in there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or a bunch of Republicans who don't want to hear about my vagina.
And you're going to talk how you talk and say what you say. But you know these work. These are proven jokes that work. In this room, though, everybody's so dead set on not being happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how do I get everybody in this room to actually just take a moment to say, you know what, I'm outside. You could go home. You can be at home unhappy.
I like that.
Why are you bringing that energy out to the world? We don't want it.
I like it. It's like you're giving them permission to chill out and relax and laugh at some dumb shit or some funny shit or some,
So I have a question. When is a time that someone was authentic with you and it created a more of a connection?
You know what that happens? The times that I remember when that happens, it's never somebody who was supposed to be somebody I was talking to.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel that too.
There's no reason why we should ever have this conversation, right? I was in DC, right, during the Knee on Our Necks march, and I was staying at this hotel, and the union I was working with, they, you know what I'm saying, flew me out. It was a whole thing. Like so I was out there just hanging out. I'm at this hotel, I'm chilling, and I got time in DC just to connect with people, and I was at the march, and we was doing what we was doing, and it was a dude. His name was Steven. He was outside the hotel, and he was just chilling. One day, I came back. It's like 2 a.m. Right, I was riding a scooter. You know what I'm saying? Like the streets were shut off. It was during the pandemic. It was crazy. Like you know what I'm saying? So downtown DC was a ghost town. So I hopped on one of them Lime scooters, and it's like 2 o'clock, and I'm just vibing, bro.
Right.
And I come back, and I'm like, oh, I want to smoke a joint. So I go outside, right, and I just smoke a joint. And he's just chilling. He's sitting there on the bench, and I wanted to sit down. And he kind of had his leg up, but he wasn't like laying down like sleep. He just had his leg up. He was chilling. I was like, bro, can I sit? Got to sit right there. You know what I'm saying? He put his leg down. And then we just start talking. I'm smoking. You smoke? He's like, no, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay, cool. Chilling. We talking. And this is the first night I'm down there. Right? I get there on a Thursday. And so first night I'm down there, and we chilling, and we just talking about life. He left Kansas City, telling me about his family, his life. And I'm smoking. I'm talking to him. And we just had like a 1.5 hour conversation. I don't know, whatever it was, until I had to, you know what I'm saying, go to my room and go to sleep. But he was out there. Every night I come back. And so I'm like, 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm ready to come back, I know I got somebody I can sit down and chill with.
Check in
and
with.
we just check in with. You know what I'm saying? So when I came back, and if I was hungry, I picked up something, and we came back, and you know what I'm saying, here, bro.
That's what's up.
Like, yeah. You
Yeah,
hungry?
well, I think it was
That's
the
cool.
fact that you were able to make a connection out of something that could have literally been like, hey, I want to sit here. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like what I believe about the smoke break is just that like my best conversations are the ones where I'm standing outside with like folks and just being like, yo, like
I
could
learned
either
something from them, though.
exactly,
Mhm.
That was the
exactly.
thing.
There's something you can learn from everybody if you
Yeah.
give them the opportunity. You
He
know?
was like, I ain't got no kids. I said, man, what makes you be outside? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you? He was like, man, I don't want to be tapped into none of that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be tapped into it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I got sisters and I can call them if I feel like it, or I know
Yeah.
I can call them and
It's
talk
like
to
getting
them.
off of Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
And
like,
we
I
was
don't want
like,
to
he got mental health issues. He's like, yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm dealing with in my own head. I just don't want to be on that grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want the bustle, the struggle and all that. I move how I move.
Yeah.
What do you do other than just, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and
You
it
learn
gave you like
something.
an appreciation for people who do live that life, because you got to understand.
Man, I do the
that it's-
monk in a certain way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that like a lot of people are kind of like that, where it's just like if you literally just listen, that like there's little gems that every single
Mhm.
person has, where it's like I've been talking to people at my work and just being like, yo, like the thing that you just said is like something that I haven't heard from like 100 of the fucking people that I work with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like this motherfucker just from out of here, like just has the knowledge. So as far as like authenticity for you, Zoe, what has been your experience with with just being yourself and saying what's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of like what G said. I feel like I can't always control being authentic. It just kind of comes naturally to me. But I think I think like I've talked about this with people before. Like I think it's opened me up to like a lot of people, like you're saying, like I'm open to talking to people that a lot of other people might not be talking to. I will share parts of myself with people that maybe other people wouldn't. And as a result, people share parts of themselves with me.
Yeah.
And I've learned, and I've had some really cool connections with people because I am just like, I just say what's on my mind, and
Yeah.
I'll talk about some heavy shit if it's on my mind, like I just am like that. But I also have like had the opposite, like you were saying, where like sometimes I think people will see it as a weakness, and they'll kind of like
Twist your words.
yeah, or they'll like strategize against you because you putting your cards on the table and they're not. And that's one thing I've struggled with in my life. Like I don't not want to be an authentic person. I like that about myself, but I have had that situation where either the person, like it feels like they're kind of like stacking information on me, and then I realize, oh, it's not even, like they're not being authentic. So my authenticity feels like vulnerable in a way.
Yeah.
But then also I've had people that like see my authenticity as a threat to their like way of curating themselves that makes them feel safe in the world. And so they'll kind of like come at me like I've done something to threaten them because they're just not comfortable with how vulnerable I am. And then and that makes me feel bad. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, am I just like a hot mess? And then I'm like, oh no, there's a certain type of person that gets triggered
Yeah.
by the way I am. And I've come to try to like learn what it means, but it's upsetting every time it happens. So I think it's like probably one of the best qualities about me. And then also probably one of the most challenging qualities about me is
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah. I think people don't understand your code sometimes.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
And
you're
your
just not
code-
on the same
yeah.
level as some people.
Yeah.
You just don't vibe on the same level as them. And
It's all good. Just different frequencies.
yeah, but
Mhm.
it's weird to me when someone's threatened by your frequency, though. That's a weird one for me.
that's a real
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they come at you in a weird way.
I had this like really weird trip one time. Like, well, it was like I went to take a trip, but then I also took a trip. And I was on
What?
Hulu's
Hold
thing.
on,
I was
wait,
really
wait.
meaning like you
made
went
it.
on an
made it.
airplane and you took
Yeah,
mushrooms?
You took
Yeah,
a trip.
I took a
Okay,
trip on a
okay,
trip.
That makes sense.
And it was weird because it was like I had gotten off stage, I'd performed, and I had like felt really good. And I was just like in this like, yeah, no, I'm gonna bring up the energy of the room. And like the problem I had is it felt like everybody saw that light and was just like, I've got to smash it.
Oh, weird.
know? And it's like, has anybody ever felt that where it's like you're in such a good mood and like almost somebody spots it and is just like, nah, you're doing too good,
Yeah.
Now the thing about that is with me is I'm cool. Like if that makes sense. Like I'm not saying that as like a but
He's all,
I
you're
don't
not
know,
cool,
like-
Zane.
No.
Okay, now it makes sense.
When you see that type of energy, just be cool, right? Because a lot of people, what they do
like
is they
pull back a little bit.
battle
maybe.
that now. Like
Yeah,
when people want
yeah.
to smash it, it's like, well, no, I don't want you to smash it. Blah.
Yeah.
No, just be cool in the situation. Oh, you trying to smash it? You
Yeah.
ain't gonna be able to. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
And then just keep being you and keep vibing.
Yeah.
Keep turning up the party, and then you're gonna pick out the people that boom, boom, boom. And if you turn the party up with enough people, then everybody else.
Then they'll be
tends
the
to
one odd
follow.
one out.
Yep.
Yeah. Then they'll be the one bumming everybody
Yeah.
out.
Now, now
Yeah,
everybody
like, you're
who
the one who can't
wanted
get
to
with it.
diminish that light,
Yeah.
now you mad because you're not part of the whole circle now.
Mhm.
And so now you want to come to the light.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, we're going to take a real quick commercial break and we'll be right back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio. And we are back with the smoke break. So for this part of the show, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about trauma. Ooh, yeah, let's get excited about trauma.
Big T, little T.
Yeah, big T, little T. Yeah, trauma is it's a complex topic. It's one that like not a lot of people like to talk about, but for me, I think that it's something that's important to address because if you can't address like the core of why something's a problem, then you can't really address all the symptoms that kind of come out of it.
I agree. Yeah.
So what would you say would be kind of like would help us understand trauma a little bit more, Zoe?
Oh, well, I think something that I think is important to understand about trauma is like when people have been through a lot of like from my like, clinical education or whatever, something that I think is really like helpful for people to understand about their brains is like when people experience a lot of trauma. And I think like this is becoming more common knowledge, but it didn't used to be.
Sure.
Like when people have experienced a lot of trauma, often like their brain can get stuck in like their like, but it's like the easiest way of saying it is like their animal brain or like the part of your brain that acts off like, like your what are the instincts,
Instincts, yeah.
And so I think like when we've had a lot of trauma, often like things can trigger us back into that state very regularly, or some people just exist in that state or they go there really quickly. Yeah. And so there's like all these strategies to learn how it basically, they call it like flipping your lid. Basically, it's like your small brain versus your frontal cortex, the part of your brain that just reacts out of fear and like memory. And then the part of your brain that can be logical and be like, oh no, I'm not actually in danger.
Yeah.
This just reminds me of something that scared me. Yeah, exactly. So I think like the understanding that whole process is really valuable because then when you learn how to heal from your trauma or how to like come down from it when you're activated, and then you can understand like why you will do and say things that you don't feel necessarily in control of when you're triggered, right? And that's when your brain like flips to that animal brain. So I think that's like a real brief
understanding.
Yeah, but I think just understanding that is a really valuable part of understanding how your body reacts, and then your brain like changes because of trauma too, which is a whole other conversation.
Like physical changes.
Well, yeah, and they know that trauma. This is something that I think is important. Is that I think it's like I'm not sure how many, but I think it's up to 4 that they've like been able to like document that like trauma is passed down by generation and that our brains like develop around the trauma that we experience. So like I have the trauma from like 4 generations ago in my body. Yeah. So I think that's another important thing to talk about when you talk about trauma.
It's passed on generation to generation. You got to think about it. A woman is born with all the eggs that she's going to have to produce. And so everything that she takes in while she's living life, all the trauma, all the everything, all the good, the bad, the ugly, the perfect, all of it is them eggs is they taking it in too. So when that baby is born, right now that baby is born with those same traumas, right, in a way, and their brain, the way that they're configured, they came from that egg that took all that in.
Well, that's even like in the mother's lifetime. Like that.
From the mother's lifetime.
Yeah, not even. Yeah, well, that makes me think about my mom. My mom had like a really serious thing when she was pregnant with me. Like she kind of like unpacked a lot of her childhood trauma for the first time when she was pregnant with me. I was her last child, and we have like a theory that like because I was bathed in so much like stress hormones in her, inside of her, that's part of why I've just been always like a real anxious person because I am more anxious than like my other siblings. So it's interesting that
we talk about generational curses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
part of it.
Yeah.
It's a scientific part of generational.
Yeah. What happens with your mom while you're in utero?
A genetic part of generational curses. It's not just learned behavior. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so when you have those right wing weirdos like, why black people not been slaves for how blah, 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 blah. And then they get on that. It's like, but you don't understand.
That's for generations.
Yeah. Generational curses are genetics.
And racism still exists.
I mean, yeah.
And we still live in a really racist culture.
I think it's like, like just, on like a chemical level of like passing on that trauma. But I also think that like our parents being traumatized, like my mom has like a huge amount of anxiety. I remember there was this one time she told me, she's like, I hate when people stand behind me in line. And I was like, why? And she's like, it just makes me anxious. Like I'm holding up the entire line. I'm like, you realize everybody ahead of you is also doing that, right?
Yeah.
She like just didn't get it. And so I was like, okay, I didn't get it. I didn't get why she was so worried until I was like literally driving and I was just like, I feel like everybody's waiting behind me.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, but but that was just from like a conversation with her, you know what I mean? So it's just like, imagine all the stuff that I have to unpack that like she's put on me. I remember she also used to say, she's like, your friends aren't your friends, they're just using you as a verbal punching bag. And so now I'm constantly.
That feels like a projection.
Yeah, exactly. And it might have been,
but it comes from her trauma, probably, right?
Exactly. So it's like because she didn't know how to address that, she ended up passing that on.
Well, she thought she was protecting you from something, but maybe the threat seemed elevated because of her experience.
But the exact opposite for me, though, is my friends do treat me like a proverbial punching bag sometimes because we be roasting each other all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we go back and forth, but we love each other in a way. Like, okay.
Yeah. But like back and forth is the thing that makes that different. Like you're not a punching bag because a punching bag it doesn't hit back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like but I can see that where it's like, my friends and I roasted each other, but like it was more of a one-sided where it was just like, Zane's the idiot, ha ha ha. And I'm just like, ha ha ha, yeah, right, guys, I am dumb. And it's like, and there was some truth to it, but like as I grew older, I started getting paranoid that my friends weren't really.
You wasn't punching back. Did you ever punch back?
No. There was a period where I did punch back. I actually, it kind of goes back to the transparency thing. My best friend that I ever had, biggest asshole I've ever known.
Yeah.
But at least I knew what he was thinking. Yeah. And he kind of taught me how to like roast people and shit. And I was like, okay, this is fun. And there was one time, and I'll never forget it, where I'd like gotten so good at roasting people that my mom was like. She's like, you can't make me cry. And I was like, oh, yeah? And so I fucking roasted her.
You roasted your mom?
Worst, meanest shit. And she goes, you didn't let me finish. You can't make me cry worse than I make myself.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I'm not being fucking mean to nobody ever again. Ever again.
You roasted your mom. That's rough.
It fucked me up.
I lost my mom behind her back.
Fucked me up.
Yeah.
Because that's somebody who I...
But part of your genetics is that way, though. You probably
she watches this.
You're probably hard on yourself, bro.
Yeah.
That comes along with that generational, you know what I'm saying, generational curse.
Yeah.
Because one thing with me, and it's not really, I hate to say generational curses because it's things that's passed on, right?
Yeah, trauma.
Because I think about on the other side, they also got generational curses.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you think of a Klansman, he got generational curses too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could just say like patterns of behavior.
Yeah, patterns of behavior and shit that they learned because of what their parents went through, what their mom went through in utero and all the other stuff. And so I think one thing about me that might be something that was passed down to me is I don't get to the point where like I get sad when people say bad things about me. Right? It doesn't make me sad.
No.
Instead, it's a whole different thing. It's like, oh, that's what you got to say.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Well, but it's cool if you can talk about it though. Maybe that's good though.
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell me all the things. Okay.
Yeah.
At least I know what you're thinking now, right?
Yeah. Well, I think getting
feelings.
sad is kind of like it's an easy reaction. Getting sad and getting mad are like two really easy reactions to like somebody saying something to you or about you. But I think that, if you can process it, and it kind of goes with like processing trauma even is just like if you can relate that bad memory to something better, then like it's not as traumatic. Like something I heard is that like we decide if something is traumatic. The person experiencing the trauma
that's very
decides
true.
if it's traumatic.
Yeah, that's why we don't get to say like, oh, well, how was that traumatic for you? It's like different things are traumatic for different people. Right? Like I'm more sensitive than my sister, so some of the shit that fucked us up fucked me up worse just because I was super sensitive. But
our traumas is also different because I grew up being me, right?
Yeah.
If I notice somebody following me down the street, I'm like, oh, okay, what we doing? I'm ready to, now I want to meet that. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Somebody following you down the street, it's a whole different situation.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. What about with your kids, G? Like, what do you feel like when you think about trying not to pass on stuff or trying to break patterns that you think would be like, for your, like, how do you, what's the biggest lesson or how does that look for you?
I want my kids to be able to be them, right? Like one thing that I think when it comes to parenting is you can't make your kids you. They're not you.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be either.
Right. And I think about it right now, my kids, when they're talking, they're at school, they're doing that, they're bringing the next wave of the future on. Right. So pretty soon I'm going to be a dinosaur. There's going to be stuff that whatever my opinion is not going to matter.
Sure.
Right? Because this is new wave of kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not tapped into that culture. I don't really know it like that. Right. They're bringing the future. And so I have to let them be them in a way where bring it. Be you. Get outside, bring the future.
Yeah. Well, and even they have like a better understanding of like what a positive like possible future could be, you know,
Right.
because it's like they're growing up with like all these ideas of like, oh, it could be so amazing, and just like seeing like the cool things that you've done, you know what I mean? Like they're inspired, they get to be inspired by us while all at the same time getting to be their own people.
Yeah.
It just hurts when that culture clashes though, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have to be that parent of like, nope, this ain't the wave.
Yeah.
I see where you're going, and nope, you need to pick better friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your friend group that I see when I looked at your phone, and your group of friends aren't focused on the right things.
Yeah.
In life. And I don't know if that's. But then it's up to them if they're gonna keep hanging out with them.
Yeah.
You can't control them when they're outside.
Yeah, well, but you got to try it because I mean, like you have more life experience than they do, so that's part of you trying to like guide them, right?
And
to,
life
like,
experience
safer.
is just trauma with a.
You gotta guide them, but you can't beat them.
No, you can, and you can't control it. But I like what you said because I've heard that like, and I think that one of the biggest like things with parents and kids is like parents do have, and I think dads specifically for just because of the way that we're socialized, like men are more individual, just like they're taught to think that way. You guys are more like in our culture, and so I think like as a result, men, I've heard that this is like a thing often like have an even harder time like differentiating their kids from themselves, like not seeing them, because I think everybody probably struggles with seeing their kids as a projection of themselves. I think that's
right.
I mean, they're part of your body. Like it's weird if you didn't, and you don't want them to have the same harms that you did. You want them to do better, whatever. But I think that even for like males in our culture, like people that are socialized as males, it's even harder. So I think that's really cool that you see how important that is, because I think that disrupts a lot of like adult like parent-child relationships as a parent, not realizing that they are seeing and treating the kid as a projection of themselves, and that's part of why the kid is like trying to differentiate so hard, is because they want to be seen as an individual.
Yeah,
you know?
that makes sense why. Because like my mom was super into mental health when I was a teenager, so I fucking hated it.
Which is ironic that you now have a mental health podcast.
Yeah, I also see the irony.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful. It's pretty awful, but it's actually pretty
That's
cool.
a generational gift.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
I'm
go.
saying.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but at the time
we get both.
it was her trauma. It was her trauma and her trying to protect me, because she saw all the things that she experienced. She saw all the negative impacts that those had, and she's like, how do I protect this person?
Yeah.
And she didn't realize that she was causing harm by trying to forcefully teach me all of that stuff.
That was her way of turning a curse into a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That was her way of breaking that curse.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to pass this on to my child.
Yeah, like she knew genetically you were going to have
what I'm
going to
do is genetically, whatever. She might not even knew she was doing what she was doing.
Intuitively.
Yeah.
It was just into it because she knew she wanted something better for you, you to be able to have a mindset of like, okay, I have to understand my mental health.
Yeah, exactly. And she definitely gave me the tools. But
I was going to say, do you think it's helpful now? Like maybe it was hard then, but do you think it's what's given you the tools to manage your mental health now?
It's as hard as it is
it's
to
both
admit.
of them.
Yeah.
Two things can be right at the same time.
Both and.
It was something that you probably growing up didn't do. Was like but at the same time, now that you're older, you like, okay, I
now it probably makes
appreciate
it easier
the different parts of it.
Yeah, exactly. So is there anything that like you feel like a generational curse that like you feel like is like, this stops with me?
Or a gift. I like the gift
or
idea
a gift.
too.
Yeah.
Generational gift that stops with me.
Or
Like,
a curse, or
a gift that starts, or a curse that stops.
yeah. If you couldn't think of one, I was like
I think I think for me, like my example would be
a
like
specific behavior or something, or
I would say like if I were to have kids, it would be yelling. It would be yelling.
Yeah.
That would be the thing where it's like,
you were saying
we're
that,
going to
but
talk
you
this out. We're going to talk this out. Like I may get frustrated. I may have to walk away, but I'm not going to yell. You know?
For me, it goes back to letting my kids be them. Right.
Yeah. That was something that.
Yeah, I grew up in a single parent household. I had a mom, and like I couldn't really say my full frustrations, right? Because sometimes I might be cursing or something. You know what I'm saying? So it was that certain level of like, you can get it out, but you better get it out respectfully. Like, you know what I mean? And so it was me trying to figure out how to say the things that which might have been a gift, because now as a comedian, I have to figure out how I can say the things that I want to say in a way where it's not offending somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I want my kids to know that you can't offend me. Say whatever you want to say to me, however you want to say it. And I might be mad. I might be in a bad mood. Whatever it is, when you talk to me and know that I'm not gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, and that I heard you.
Yeah, like you were fine. I'm or grab my attention, Dad. You're not listening to me right now, and be that light, be that person, be aggressive. About life, right? I was always taught as growing up is not to be aggressive. Don't
Be
be
small.
aggressive. You're gonna scare people.
Yeah.
You're gonna scare people.
Yeah.
You're a big black
Yeah.
dude. You're gonna scare people. So that
Yeah.
was something that was beaten on me
Yeah.
my whole life. I don't want my kids to grow up feeling that. Be you
Yeah.
when you walk outside. And so I want you to be bold. Be bold, be big, be you.
Preach.
And I think that it was a curse that's going to stop with me. So I got a son that's going to be a big black dude one day.
Yeah.
Be you, big, bold, whatever you're going to be it. But just make sure you can control your temper, control your anger, because a lot of stuff is going to come at you being that.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have opposition. So know how to protect yourself, know when to protect yourself, and always be safe. But if you can't be safe, be dangerous.
Amen. Amen. All right, we're going to take a real quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Xperience Radio. All right, welcome back to the smoke break. We're going to do a real quick clip from G Wade. It's about 15 minutes, so just strap in. Really funny dude. It's off of Shrista Tyree's Clownin' Show. Super dope. Go check that out if you get the opportunity. But right now, G Wade.
Kill switch on the speaker, I'm trying to kill something. How you fucking with them suckers, but it's still alive? Still rolling.
You feel that, Mozzie? I feel you. Yeah, you like Mozzie? You don't look like somebody that be at a mouth. How y'all doing today? Give it up for your DJ now for Prince. Give it up for your host, Shrista. Give it up for me just because I want to give y'all platform. Give it up for this nigga in the front too. Right now, I'm just talking to How we doing tonight, Kellys? I'm up here to be a comedian tonight, but I want to tell y'all, I really don't want to be a comedian no more because I went to a Mozzie concert a week ago, and now I want to be a rapper. I want to be a rapper so bad, bro. I'm telling you. This nigga had a 45-minute set. I don't know what it's like with y'all, if y'all know what it's like to be on stage for 45 minutes, right? As a comedian, all you got is a mic in the shoe, right? As a rapper, you got beats, you got flows that you just say over and over again, and people listen to it and love it, right? But this nigga stopped in the middle of his 45-minute set and said, hey, it ain't nothing but niggas on this stage. I need some bitches on the stage. All the bitches on the stage right now, turn up. All the bitches come to the stage. See, he said it the same way I said. This ain't no bitches on the stage. I'm still on the stage by myself. I swear, a gaggle of bitches just ran to the stage. I was like, damn, I want to be bitches. I took my little sister to this concert with me. I wish I didn't. She didn't hear what he said. She gonna tap me on my shoulder, right? And I turned around. She's like, "What did he say?" I said, "He want all the bitches to the stage." She gonna push past me, talking about some, "I'm bitches, I'm bitches." She didn't get picked. She didn't get picked. Sister, but you gotta understand though, she 35-year-old, she got a homeowner, she got 2 kids and a dog. She's not bitching, she's a ma'am. You are a ma'am, you are not bitching. We're looking for you. It was funny because you see what was going on stage, right? When he did it, because when he called him to the stage, he didn't play his own music. That nigga played Juvenile, Back That Ass Up. Yeah. Then he played Twins, 3, 6, 9, MC 9. You see what happens when you play music like that? You see what I'm saying? You see what He a rapper too. He know what that's like. You know what he did when he brought him onto the stage? The nigga just kept him. He was like, I'm about to get back into my music, y'all. And they was like, you gotta clear the stage. He was like, the fuck I do, y'all. Hey, oh, it was good though. It was weird seeing Mozzie in Portland. You know what I mean? I don't know. Portland is weird. We got a lot of it. It ain't diverse. It's more like it's a white utopia with a sprinkling of like niggas everywhere. You know what I mean? I grew up here. I was born here. I was raised in North Portland. Anybody like North Portland? Shout out from North Portland. See, you from Vancouver? Any nigga from you from North Portland? You from North Portland right now? That's where.
Southeast 162nd and Burnside.
Oh shit! That nigga got a gun on him right now.
All the drug dealers looking at me right now.
Right now. I know that nigga. It's weird adjusting to Portland though. It's weird adjusting to Portland, bro. God, because you gotta adjust to white people, and I just got my white people picked out. I know it's ones that like and ones that don't like. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to white dudes, oh God, you know what I like? I like white dudes that drive Subarus. You know what I like. My favorite fucking people are white dudes. There's only one gripe I have about them. I don't know if they're pro-gentrification or not. Like, yeah. Nigga, if I meet you at Whole Foods, I know what side you on, motherfucker. Oh God, if a Whole Foods show up in your community, they ain't your community no more. That's all. Subaru drivers and niggas with man buns with yoga mats. Just don't let them fuck My favorite, well, the white guy that I really don't get along with is the white guy that got the same kind of values I got. You know what I mean? I like to wear trucker hats. Yeah, white dude in a trucker hat, strike one, motherfucker. I don't know where this conversation is gonna go, Bob. We gotta figure this out. It's kind of scary. White dude, see, yeah, I wear a trucker hat. I made that shit look cool, huh? Shout out Black Mountain. Yeah. I'm just telling you, like, yeah, strike one. Second strike, a white dude who believes in the Second Amendment the way I do. I fucking love the Second Amendment. Fuck y'all. You can trust a black dude in a trucker hat that loves the Second Amendment. You can trust him, nigga. If I got a problem with somebody, they get it. Nobody else. I'm not walking in the grocery stores. That's not my job. Right. I mean, even though I probably could. I could go to Whole Foods and light them motherfucker up, man. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not giving advice up here. I'm talking shit. I don't know. I love the Second Amendment so much. I wake up and I shoot my kids with airsoft guns sometimes. I pop in the living room while I watch the Saturday morning cartoons like, and I duck behind it. It's a fun game. They run, they duck, we have fun, ha. You know, it's a great thing. But a white dude in a trucker hat that believes in the Second Amendment, nigga, that's strike two. I don't know if I can fuck with you. The last one, though. The last one. Third strike. Oh. A white dude who wakes up every day, like I do, wanting to advance for my people. Shout out for black people. If you love black people, clap your hands. I love doing that shit with white people in the audience because you ain't got no choice, nigga. If you ain't got I'll meet you outside if you. I'm just saying. But a white dude in a trucker hat that believes in the Second Amendment the way I do, that wakes up every day really caring about the advancement of his people. I'm gonna let that breathe for a minute. That's grounds for insurrection, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a lot of white sheets in the back of that F-150. You got it. Red hat. That's what what I'm saying. That's why I rock the orange one today. I like red trucker hats, but they got a negative connotation to them. But no, you know, I also like white women. Kind of for white women. Everybody black for white women. They get enough fucking praise in this country. No, I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, white women like superheroes. Like, okay, listen. I got my favorite superheroes, right? My first favorite superhero was Batman. My second favorite superhero is Iron Man. Why? Because they're realistic, right? They're just white dudes with a lot of money that can do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's not to say I agree with their politics. They ain't no weird ass cops. But at the same time, they're realistic. They need to survive off white privilege. Nigga, that's what... You look like you a superhero right there in that polo shirt.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, my third favorite superhero though is white women, bro. They a fucking superhero. You know what they can do? They can walk in any room they want to and say whatever the fuck they want to say to anybody they want to say it to, however they want to say it, whenever they want to say it. And nobody kills them. Nigga, nobody... Nobody killing bitches. Somebody should do something to them, but nobody does. I like to think I got white woman superpowers. Like a lot of y'all, I use them whenever I can too. Shit, I especially use it with my friends. It'd be great. My wife, she an electrician, right? So she fix shit for a living. So if anything break in my house, guess who fix it, nigga? Not me. Why the fuck would I fix it? Stop her from doing what she loves to do? That's crazy, right? Had a dinner party. I was talking to a couple of my homeboys and shit, and you know we was all chilling, and everybody in the room got on me because we had a toilet broke and my wife fixed it, and they was like, "How did you let your wife fix the toilet? What kind of man are you?" Blah 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 blah. White woman, white woman, white woman. I got black friends. I live in Portland. All their wives is white. It's can't stand them niggas. But at the same time, we kicking with them, you know what I mean? But then I was like, white woman powers activate. Ooh, no white woman powers kicked in. I said, how dare you? Tell me that I have to stop my wife from doing what she loves to do in this house? Am I the only feminist in here? Them niggas were home with hella complications. It was great. They texted me the next day like, fuck you, bro. Son. They wanted to slap me. I was like, you wouldn't do that to a white woman, would you? God. I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm loving life right now. This pandemic had me fucked up for a minute. Now everybody just in here raw dogging this show like nobody give a fuck. Raw dogging the fuck out of this show. I tell you what happened. Damn, I got this light. But I got one more for y'all because during the pandemic it fucked me up. Because I got real into like crime, like reality crime shows and shit. I was watching everything. First 48. I had cops. You too? See? That's what I was okay. My favorite one though, I got into Catch a Predator. I was like, ooh, I fucking love that show. It's great. My favorite part is like when you get real uncomfortable, right? When a nigga walk in the house with wine coolers, fidget spinners, fruit snacks. Chris Hansen come in like, hey buddy, what you got in the bag? Nothing but condoms and fidget spinners and fruit snacks. Nigga, we know what you here for. Get the fuck out. And then the nigga, the bush nigga just jump out and tackle him as he walking out. That's my favorite. I don't know, I just think it's a lot of stuff that we do, right? That we think about and it contradicts itself, right? Like me, for instance. I really don't like white women, but I fucked a lot of them in my life. It's a contradiction. I hate sex trafficking, but I watch a lot of porno. It's a contradiction. I really hate when people try to fuck kids, but if I can get 3 more seasons of The Catch a Predator. Oh my God!
And welcome back to the smoke break. Yeah, that was super dope, G.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
I don't know, have fun tonight.
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's dope. So we got a little bit more time left. I just wanted to talk to you about what you're excited for. I mean, you know, fucking.
I'm excited for a lot, man.
Yeah, tell me
I'm
about
excited
it.
for tomorrow. I'm excited for. I don't know. I'm taking my kids to the festival in a little bit, so I'm excited for that. Like professionally, what I'm excited for?
Anything.
No, it could be
Or
anything.
anything.
Yeah,
Well,
you guys are
I'm
going
excited to take my kids
Are
down
you
to the
gonna go on
festival. Take them
rides?
out. I'm not gonna go on rides, but
No.
I'm gonna let them go on all the rides they want to. I might go on 1 or 2.
Do you get
Yeah,
sick?
They're
when
gonna
you
have
go
to
on a
talk
ride?
to me about it. Huh?
Do you get like motion sickness?
The only time I've ever thrown up, I've gone off a ride. I was at Six Flags, and I went on the Superman like 4 times in a row. It was like
So you were trying to throw up.
Well, it was the first. I just got to AIT after boot camp,
Okay.
right? And it was the first like 4-day pass that we had, and so I was like, man, we got to do something. We just
Sure.
literally we spent 11 weeks over here at Fort Leonard Wood going through this basic training. We get to AIT. We spend 4 weeks here in this blackout phase where we couldn't go nowhere.
Okay.
Like we need to get outside.
I need a rush. I need
bro.
5 adrenaline rushes. Really quickly.
in a
Right
row.
Yeah.
And so we was like, let's go to Six Flags. And so we went to Six Flags. And when I was on that Superman, boom, I did it. And I was like, oh, I want to go back and do it again. And I did it again. And then I did it again. And then when I got up, I was like, oh, and I threw up. And then I did it again.
Way to face your fears, man.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
obviously.
we got to get back on it. We got to do it.
Yeah,
That's right,
yeah. No, I think that's.
But no, I'm excited for a lot.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope. I think like, you know, getting to spend time with family is like something that I got to do in the last couple of weeks. And it's like, I think that you're really lucky to have your family so close and be able to, you know, spend time with them like that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Zoe, what about you? What are you excited for?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've said this like 5 times over the last couple months, but I'm really excited
What
for
is
the
it?
warmer weather.
Yeah. Are you hoping that you're just going to like by will of
Leo
just
season.
repeating it? Yeah.
I'm just hoping that I'll start looking a little bit more like cooked chicken opposed to raw chicken. Because, you know, that's the difference for me between the summer and the winter. Yeah. But no, that's partially it. But I think also I've been kind of like today, I've been trying to like do a weird like little reset. I used to like walk a lot more and be outside a lot more. And I feel like over the pandemic and then being in school, I really like got out of that shit. And I think it's impacted like my mental and my physical health. So today I was kind of having like I went on a walk today and I was like, okay, we're going to do an hour walk like every day just because I used to always do it. And it just, and so I think, and so I'm feeling a little bit excited to like try to do a little bit of reset around like being a little more conscious of my physical well-being, how it impacts my mental well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to get more balanced.
When I called you, you said that you were out on a walk.
I call it a mental health walk.
A mental health walk.
Because this is what I do is I take my dog for like a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, and then I drop him off because he just wants to sniff shit the whole time, and then I can't, and then I go on
Then
like
you can't walk.
Yeah, and then I go on, well, I can walk, but it's like I can't get in like that groove, you know, like where I'm like, you heard me, I was like out of breath a little bit, you know, I was walking fast. Like I'm trying to like do a little meditating, you know, like notice the nature, but then also and breathe a little bit, but then also like just try to exert myself a little bit because I kind of hate working out, even though I still do it sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think like, you know, just taking steps like that, you know, it's like you didn't go on a run, you didn't fucking climb a mountain, but you took a step to like try and make yourself feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and just being outside, especially when the weather, everything smells good right now, and it's like all pretty, and I'm just trying to like, you know, because we've all been stuck inside for so long.
The tulips is blooming right now.
Yeah, and all the shit.
I mean, they about to die though. They opening up now.
But like the like apple blossoms and the cherry blossoms and shit. They're beautiful.
Yeah. No, it looks really great outside. I want to try and get outside more. Let's just go for a hike after this. Let's just go for a hike.
We could do like a casual
come to the
walk.
festival with me and my kids.
Oh shit!
I'll go on rides with them.
Yeah, I'll hang out with G because I hate rides.
Hop in. Let's go.
I should probably hang out with my niece and nephew. I should take them. I wonder
There
what
you
they're
go.
doing.
There you go.
That's something
Yeah.
I need to do too. I need to hang out with my family more. I feel like I
Yeah.
got so caught up in being in school and starting a new job that's part of the balance. I
Are you
wanna
still in
strike.
school?
No, I'm done, but I'm
Okay.
starting a new career and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, family is important.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. That was something that like I wish it wouldn't have taken like a celebration of life to get everybody together and
Right.
be like, oh, okay, like these are people I enjoy spending time with. These are people who
You know,
like
ain't that crazy?
help
though?
me grow.
I know it always does bring people together.
More every time a funeral will bring everybody together.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You might be able to get if depending on who you are in your family, you might be able to get 12 people at your birthday party.
Right? Yeah, but if you
Yep.
died,
You had a funeral,
Oh yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
my funeral was going to be the best birthday party I ever had. My
That's why
unbirthday.
what I
It's
tell-
my unbirthday.
This is one thing I tell my family all the time. When I die, I don't want no crazy funeral. Just find a place to dig a hole
Party.
and put my body in naked.
Yeah.
To the earth is where I came from.
You want to be
I'm
naked?
going back.
He's like, don't you
Naked.
dare bury
Don't put
me
no
in
clothes, don't
boxer
put
briefs.
nothing on me.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just throw me in a hole naked and put some dirt on it.
I want the
and
earth
let
on
me
my
live.
balls as
it's
I
all
die.
good. I'm gone. But just have a party. Have a big
Yeah.
everybody who gonna be there. Call everybody you know and tell them to come to this place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Call everybody you know, tell them to come to this place, and then y'all just talk,
Yeah.
share stories, and that's the only way my life is gonna keep going.
Mhm.
It's not gonna go once my body die. My body is dead.
Yeah.
And so the only way my life will keep going is if you get 2 deaths. You only get 2.
Yep.
You get the first time when your body goes, and you get
Yep.
the second time when the last person that ever knew you, any story, anything about you that ever lived,
Yep.
is now no longer spoken.
Oh, that's
Yep.
weird. I
when
never
that
thought
last
about
person
that.
dies,
The last time that somebody
It's a
says
real
your name.
death.
That's weird. I hadn't thought
that's
about
when
that
you-
before.
real
Yeah.
death.
I heard
That's
that
a
like
real
a rap
death.
lyric or some shit, and I
Damn.
was just like, dang.
Like when your memory dies. Damn, that's deep. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the real death.
Damn.
Yeah.
Think about it. Jesus ain't dead yet because
Yeah.
people still talk about
You're
Jesus
right.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
That's very
So
true.
what you gonna do?
Yeah, how's he supposed to come back?
He
from,
has
from
risen.
death? Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
how Jesus
He
came
stayed
back.
rose.
Michael
Jesus, stay
Jackson, Elvis
rising.
Presley, they still living too.
Zane, what are you excited for, Zane?
What am I excited for? I have been. Oh, I'm moving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm moving. That's kind of crazy. I'm trying to track down a car. So
Okay.
And then you'll really be moving.
hey, this is Zoe's last episode. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. This is my last episode. No, I'm homeless.
This is over.
No, I've actually got some really good supports and stuff, so I feel like that's going to make a huge difference. You know, like whether it's like between the car or it's between the place. Like I feel like I have a place to stay, and people like showed up when I was like, hey, I just need a little bit to get me going.
Mhm.
Like people
Yeah.
showed up, and I guess I'm just excited for a lot of the possibilities. I did a music and comedy show last night, so that was really dope.
Where's you at?
It was over on Seaside.
Okay.
Yeah. It was an interesting show. You ever like prepare comedy and then they're like, "There's kids here," and you're like,
Yeah, me and Zane were talking about. I was
"Oh
gonna
no,
go. I'm
you
like,
would be
glad I
fine
didn't
because
go.
you know how to like, like how to be funny without being offensive." But
Yeah.
like for me and like Zoe,
Yeah.
it's just like I have my jokes and that's what I plan for. Zoe wasn't there; it was Hartenfeld. Actually.
I was gonna go though originally.
Yeah.
You
but
throw a solo or did you?
I went with
team up
I went with
anybody?
James Hartenfeld,
Okay.
and
You ever tap in with the Black Pioneers or Champagne James?
yeah. Champagne James knows
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
I know Champagne.
What about Jess? You know Jess? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah.
No, I'm out here trying
Them
to
hip
meet
hop shows
everybody.
they be fun. They be fun, bro.
I did.
I go to the
Champagne
ones I
James
can't
show,
go
and
to.
I had a blast. Yeah, they know how to the promoters that know how to promote. Like it makes a huge difference.
You have a show tonight.
No,
don't
that
you,
girl-
Zane?
I do.
You gotta tap in with that girl Jess. Oh,
What's your
God,
show
she
tonight?
dope.
Okay. My show tonight is it's for Jamie Stewart, and it is
Okay.
at a place that I am not sure.
Oh.
I need
It's
to
a comedy
check the
show?
flyer. Yeah, comedy.
Okay.
Comedy. Yeah. I'm doing 10 to 15. I'm gonna see if I can get away with doing music though. 'cause-
You don't know where it's at?
You want to know the worst part? Is I
No,
don't
I
know
do-
what time it is.
I
If we
do
look
that
at
shit
his-
all the time,
if we
bro.
look at
I
his
do it all the
Instagram,
time. It's
I'm
all
sure-
good. You got a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know. You just don't know.
You're gonna be there.
Yeah,
you know you
I
ain't
will
got
be
nothing
there.
else
I will
scheduled.
be there. Yeah, I have nothing else scheduled. I knew I had to be free tonight, but I was like, I got up until the podcast to be able to mess around and do a little bit of stuff. But yeah, I've been doing a lot more shows. It's been nice, just kind of like getting my head back together and just feeling like I'm ready to go out and enjoy the world because I feel like when your head's not right, like nothing else, even if everything else is right, it doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Listen, I tell myself this all the time. When I wake up, if I can't pull a smile on my face before I walk out them doors, I'm finna go back in the house and figure it out. I'm gonna go back in the house and figure it out. Maybe I got to meditate a little bit more. Maybe I got to do some yoga. Maybe I got to, I don't know, brush my teeth, shower again.
Do you meditate every day, G?
I don't meditate every day.
But
I meditate
regularly?
often.
Yeah.
Very often.
That's one of the things I've been trying to do more
I
of.
miss days.
I know it'll make a big difference. I've been trying to, I tend to do it now like when I'm feeling bad, but I really have this goal of, those are one of the other goals. Like I want to walk an hour today. I want to meditate 10 minutes a day is one of my goals.
Yeah.
Me and Zane did an accountability thing once, and then he did it.
Yeah, I did it, and Zoe wasn't accountable, so I just ended up doing it by myself.
Yeah, but then I'd be recommending it to my clients and stuff, and then I'm like, I better do it if I'm going to be telling people to do it.
You don't do it in your car?
No, I do like walking meditation where I'll breathe like while I'm walking, but I do meditate sometimes. I just breathe.
Do you know what meditation means? Or the art of meditation is?
I don't know. Tell me.
What's your definition?
My definition, or not, my definition of it, if that makes sense. But it's literally clearing your mind of everything, right? And so you can do it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
so a lot of times I won't say every day, but a lot of times I will take time to just meditate and just clear my mind. Just listen to my breath in my brain, in my body, where it's going, blowing it out, trying to pick, and just clear my mind of everything else that I got to do that day. Just for a couple of minutes, so you can do it anywhere.
I do it sometimes, like before I go in, like if I go to a show or into a mic or something, if I'm feeling anxious that day or something, I'll breathe a little bit. I'll breathe while I'm driving, even
it's always like a shame when like the stuff that could be helping us like all the time is the stuff that we only do when it's like in like almost a crisis where it's like, oh man, shit's as bad as it needs to be. I should probably blank, and it's like, no, you should have been blank every day,
right? Well, especially because then when you get really bad. Yeah,
exactly. Whenever you can get it, which is probably more realistic than every day.
Well, and go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that like you just have like a tendency to beat yourself up if it's like if you set the goal of every day, then you miss every day, then you're like, well, my plan was every day and I didn't, so fuck any day. You know?
Yeah. It's weird how like something that's supposed to make you feel better can become like another thing that you're failing at if you do it wrong, or if you think about it wrong.
No, I like that.
That's a human thing to do though, because we always we want to fix things. So we focus on the negative things a lot of times because we want to fix them, right? So that continues to be the thing that consumes our brain.
Yep,
is the negatives. You know what I mean? Because we want to fix them.
Yeah.
And well, while we doing that, we get anxious.
Yep.
Yeah. I think like fixing stuff is something that like I've tried to like take less of an active role in, you know what I mean? Because like some things work themselves out, and it's like sometimes trying to fix something when it's not broken is the thing that breaks it, and it's like it could break it worse. It could, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just have to like turn the car off for a second and then start it back up. You know what I mean? But if you're like, you're making shit worse.
Right.
But it feels like you're doing something.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Yeah. But I mean, like trying to turn it off is like the thing that, keeps you from just like running into the same problem, trying to repeat the same thing, trying to, fix something that's not broken when all it might need is a rest.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing I was thinking about when you were talking about that, like meditating, another thing I think that's like part of meditating is like letting yourself, like mindfulness is like having the experiences that you're having, but trying to step back from them a little bit, right? Like giving yourself space to, like, I'm feeling sad right now, like labeling the way you're feeling, or like I'm feeling shame right now, So it's like you're giving space for the emotion, but you're also taking a step back from it at the same time and labeling it as something separate from you, not something that you have to like, that's like going to dictate the rest of the day or whatever.
Yeah.
So
One thing I notice when I meditate is even though I clear my mind, I would just start thinking about something.
Yeah.
And then I would notice myself like, oh man, you really are just going down this path of thinking about something, clear your mind again. And it just helps me put those things, those thoughts, those in boxes.
Yeah. Kind of compartmentalize.
It's like the power of the mind. Yeah. Not letting your thoughts like sweep you away every time you have one.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, dope. Thank you so much, G-Wade, for joining us.
Thanks for being here,
It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah.
Zoe, thank you so much. That has been The Smoke Break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio and Pretty Dope Xperience Radio.